Hi, I'm Sarah Gardner. We're mixing together a bit of harvesting and history on this edition of America's Heartland. Plus, we'll meet a farm family that found a future in flowers. There are bright and bold tulips as far as the eye can see on these Oregon acres, all part of a plan to cultivate a future for the family farm. Bright blue is the color of success for this farm in Florida. Harvest season is all about picking and packing blueberries that make their way to your supermarket. We'll take you to Louisiana, where scientists are working to save America's honeybee population. And travel back in time with a man known as the barn saver. It's all about keeping rural history alive, one board at a time. It's all coming up on America's Heartland.
America's Heartland is made possible by
America never stops. Neither do the farmers and ranchers who call her home. And as rural America grows further, farm credit will be there, just as we have for 100 years.
Crop Life America, representing the companies whose modern farming innovations help America's farmers provide nutritious food for communities around the globe. The Fund for Agriculture Education, a fund created by KVIE to support America's Heartland programming. Contributors include the following.
You can see it in the eyes of every woman and man in America's heartland, living close to the land. There's a love for the country and a pride in the brand. In America's heartland, living close to the land.
Hi, thanks for joining us on America's Heartland. We're always glad we can share some very special stories with you. Let's start in the Sunshine State. Florida farmers produce a significant portion of the fruits and vegetables that make their way to your supermarket. Everything from oranges and grapefruit to lettuce, tomatoes, even Brussels sprouts. And come spring, Florida farmers are harvesting some special produce, even as the snow flies up north. It's all about a colorful crop of blueberries.
2 days they'll be in New York, and 3 days they'll be on a store shelf somewhere.
The blueberries are on the move this morning at the William G. Rowe & Sons packing house not far from Orlando. And they'll keep moving through a short 6-week blueberry season in Florida, where the Rowe family will pack more than 1.5 million pounds of these tiny bundles of dark blue sweetness. At this pace, it's hard to tell who is keeping up with whom, the computerized machines or the workers.
As soon as they're packed, they'll go into the cooler and be put in front of a 35,000 CFM fan. It pulls them down in about 45 minutes to room temperature, and they're ready to go out the door.
If that customer out there ever gets their package of blueberries and they say, hey, that feels a little light, you can say, no, hold on now.
We're trying to get within 3 grams of the exact legal requirement for each one of these size clamshells. This machine can do up to 180 cups a minute. We slow it down a little bit to keep it more accurate, and they're tracked back to the grower by barcode and a little sticker on the carton, so traceability right back to the field and the day it was harvested is very efficient.
Bill Rowe is the Vice President of Operations for Rowe & Sons. He's the 3rd generation to manage this operation. William G. Rowe started the business in 1927, packing citrus.
My grandfather originally came from upstate New York back in the early 20s. Came down here, started picking fruit, got into the citrus business, and eventually had a packing house.
It's safe to say growing blueberries was not on William G. Rowe's original business plan. But just like their grandfather, the present generation of Rowes have had to innovate and explore new business opportunities like blueberries.
So we went out, we bought a field, we bought the equipment, we converted our packing house over, and boom, the blueberry industry just kind of blew up around us as we were growing up with it.
Now 6 growers from around the region and the rows grow blueberries to be packaged under several different labels. The rows grow 18 acres themselves. When you think of blueberries, Florida isn't the first state that comes to mind, but it turns out that the growing season here is perfectly timed.
The blueberry industry now is a year-round industry. The northern hemisphere blueberry market starts in Florida, and it's about a 6 to 8 week season. So we're in a very narrow little patch when there really are no other blueberries in the world that are coming in.
Another not-so-typical product sowed by the rows, tangerine juice. Slightly sweeter than orange juice, the juice is sold under the Noble brand. As with many farmers today, the rows have a greater focus on environmental concerns. In their case, bottling their juices in containers made from corn-based plastics instead of petroleum.
Which means they're completely compostable. If you put them in an active compost pile, in 60 days they're gone.
The rows are proud to carry on the legacy they inherited from their grandfather. Several rows serve in the management and daily operation of the business. The latest is Bill's daughter, April. She left her job as an Atlanta investment banker to join the team.
When I started from day one, I knew that they trusted me and I trusted them, and that takes a long time to develop working for another employer.
A family farming tradition getting sweeter with each generation.
You can call them blueberries, but they are the golden child in the galaxy of fruits and vegetables. Blueberry consumption in the U.S. has more than doubled in the past 15 years, thanks to the health benefits of this sweet and tasty fruit. Blueberries are low in calories, but high in antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, and dietary fiber. And flavor aside, some folks still use the natural dye in blueberries to color textiles.
Honeybees are critical for pollinating much of the produce that we enjoy every day. And we've told you in the past about national efforts to improve native habitats for our bee populations. But recent studies have shown that honeybee populations continue to be under attack from a variety of fronts, including something called colony collapse disorder. There may be a single or multiple causes for the die-off in bee populations, but scientists say the increasing incidence demands answers now. Our Rob Stewart looks at one research program in Louisiana where scientists are attempting to isolate specific causes.
Honeybees may be small in size, but the loss of bee colonies worldwide is a huge concern for agriculture. Bees pollinate some 30% of the food crops that we enjoy every day. But in recent years, both a predator called the varroa mite and something called colony collapse disorder have been decimating hives and killing off bees.
It's an enormous problem, and it is a result of several things coming together all at the same time.
Dr. Tom Renderer directs research for the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Honeybee Breeding, Genetics, and Physiology Laboratory in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
We've got new pests and pathogens. The parasitic mites have been with us for too short a time for any solution other than the ones we've provided to be available. So we're in the leading edge of that. We do have stocks, bee stocks, that are resistant to varroa mites.
Those bees, bred with what's called varroa-sensitive hygiene, or VSH, can interrupt the process of mites attacking the hive.
So these are bees in a VSH colony that are basically searching and destroying mite-infested pupae.
Baby bees.
Baby bees. There are several parts to the trait. First, bees have to detect a problem, and in this case we see a bee who's chewing open a capped cell where there's a pupa. There you see the hole in the cell cap, so they're uncapping the cell.
That bee knew something was wrong in there.
Yes. Different shot here. These bees are now removing the injured pupa. And you can see the pupa is destroyed.
Oh wow, there it is.
And there's another one being pulled out, and as you can see, it's infested with a varroa mite.
There's the varroa mite.
There's the mite. So these bees have minimally disrupted the reproduction of this mite where it's occurring on this pupa.
Outside the lab, these hives contain 60,000 bees used in a nationwide field test. bees that have been bred with the VSH trait.
These 3 colonies did the best. We'll use them as breeding material. These colonies last year went to 7 different places and pollinated 4 different crops.
Healthy bees ensure plentiful crops, affecting prices for many fruits and vegetables at the supermarket. The new breed of bees here will go to commercial beekeepers across the nation.
Basically, just breaking this down, this is in action what is really helping to repair some of the major problems we're seeing with bees.
We think this could be very useful, yes. Any of these breeding programs to increase the natural genetic-based resistance in these bee populations can help but be useful.
Researchers here say the impact on agriculture is huge. One study from Cornell University put the value of pollination at $15 billion a year.
There's a lot of industry support for it. I think they see that we're doing it and that we're moving forward, and I think they're very, very excited about that.
As research continues on colony collapse, the lab has also developed improved honeybee strains using varieties from Eastern Europe.
We discovered that here at this laboratory. That was a 14-year project from the first trip to Russia to now, where we have this association that's dedicated to earning their living, producing and selling Russian bees, and also to maintaining and improving that stock. This is great biology. Without bee pollination, we could not possibly have the food production that we have, the agricultural systems that we have. So it's a small industry, but it's key to the agriculture that we have and that we see today.
Honeybees are not native to the U.S. European in origin, they were brought to America by early settlers. In addition to tasting good, honey has antibacterial and antioxidant properties, as well as a wide array of vitamins, including vitamin B, riboflavin, and niacin.
Hi, I'm Paul Robbins, and here's something you may not have known about agriculture. Every time I talk about onions, it brings a tear to my eye. And it has nothing to do with emotions, it's all about chemistry, but more on that later. Eat them on hamburgers, hot dogs, in soups and stews, you name it. Onions are a tasty addition to any meal, and they have been since the dawn of time. When early man first walked the earth, he was probably toting onions to add to his meal of saber-toothed tiger. Some historians claim that onions were the first vegetable to make it to the dinner table, and whether they were harvested wild or cultivated, cultures around the world dined on onions thousands of years ago. Onions were highly thought of by the ancient Egyptians, who believed the onion's spherical shape and concentric rings symbolized eternal life. Roman gladiators were rubbed down with onions to firm up their muscles. Fast forward to 1492, and our old friend Christopher Columbus brought varieties of cultivated onions here to the New World. Throughout history, many cultures have used onions for medicinal purposes, believing them to have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. But let's get back to my tears. Why do some folks cry when they slice an onion? Well, slicing breaks down the cells in the onion walls, releasing chemicals into the air that aggravate your eyeballs. Some folks claim that chilling inhibits the enzymes from activating, and if you want another trick, use a fan to blow the gas away from your face when you slice.
Let's take a little trip back in time, both to revisit one of our favorite stories and also meet a man whose future is tied to saving things from the past. Travel through the Heartland and you're sure to come across imposing historic barns that dot America's rural landscape. Age and the elements take their toll on structures like these, but one man in Pennsylvania decided that his skills could help preserve the past.
It's just a great feeling to know that I'm saving a part of this history that so many people just think it's garbage. I'm saving 80 to 95% of each building that would have otherwise been landfilled or rotting away because the people can't afford to maintain them.
John High has made it his mission to save as many old Pennsylvania barns as he can. He calls his Lancaster County business the Barn Saver. John's rescued more than 200 historic structures, either restoring them to their old luster or, in most cases, recycling the boards and beams into something new, like a house. For High, saving barns, or at least parts of them, is a kind of penance.
Well, I was working for an excavating company, and my boss would say, get rid of them because we're putting a development in. That meant the house, the barn, everything just bulldozed and sent to the landfill. And I would look through these buildings before we were to start them, and I'd just shake my head and almost made me cry.
After leaving his excavating job in the late 90s, John discovered his woodworking skills could be used to save barns, doing virtually all of the work by hand.
It's a little bit of a delicate process, but we actually draw up a blueprint of every beam in the barn, and then we put a tag on it so that every beam has a tag on it so that they know how to put it back together at the other end.
This barn that High is working on is more than a century old. Owner Greg Snell's grandparents bought it, along with the family farm, in 1940.
Well, as we've been taking it down, I'm thinking of all the times that my mother was telling me she was in charge of being up in the hay mounds when she was a little girl stomping the hay downs. They threw it up and all.
Snell says the farm was sold in the 1970s after his grandparents died. With the property being converted to a new development, Greg Snell asked the barn saver to salvage the pieces for posterity.
Well, it's going to be converted into a home, and it'll have 2 lofts in the upper where the hay mounds were, and it'll have a living area down below.
Brad Smith has been enjoying his converted barn for about 2 years. He said he looked quite a while for just the right one to resurrect.
Above all, I wanted to find one that was pretty pristine. Most barns that you find and you take down have something wrong with them. There's just the age, there's going to be some sort of problem. Some are worse than others. This one was really in good shape.
Smith says there's a real charm in living in a home that's built this way.
The idea was to get the grand feel. This is actually how it would be set up, how it was set up originally, where the hay wagon would pull right in here and they would fill the barn with hay to either side.
Smith says it's a challenge to take an unheated, aging structure and turn it into a house with modern conveniences. Brad calls it the perfect marriage of old and new. But John High worked his magic once again. Some of the magic John makes with old barns has been immortalized in an illustrated children's book written by High's author wife, Linda.
Papa saves barns from bulldozers. Is there a lot to save, I ask? Papa nods and I smile.
And that same satisfaction is something High feels every day about his chosen vocation.
It's very gratifying to know that I'm saving a piece of American history, and I know I feel so sorry for people that go to work and hate their job. I wake up in the morning, I'm ready to go to work to save another piece of our history and to just keep this thing rolling.
History is big in Pennsylvania. In addition to centennial and bicentennial farms, the Keystone State was home to the first presidential mansion in the United States, some of the first newspapers in the New Republic, and the world's first oil well. And while most folks associate Daniel Boone with Kentucky, the celebrated woodsman was born just outside Reading, Pennsylvania.
For most of us, flowers are just something that brighten up the yard or help decorate for a special occasion. But horticulture in all of its forms, from nursery plants to landscaping, even garden equipment, is a multi-billion-dollar industry in the United States. And for some farm families, it's a way to use their land to attract visitors that bring in needed income. Our Jason Schultz found one family in Oregon welcoming tourists who tiptoe through the tulips.
It's early morning in Oregon's Willamette Valley, and the irony of Ross Iverson's first morning chore of the day is not lost on him. Driving his diesel-powered tractor past sedans and minivans, delivering wood to be burned in a steam engine on a tractor he's never used on his farm. But such is the life of a modern-day farmer/tour guide.
You have to broaden it out. You just don't make it on the farm crops. That's just about the situation now.
It'll take a couple of hours for the boiler to heat up enough to power this tractor. In the meantime, people start arriving to take in the tulips in this beautiful valley. There are 50 acres of tulips planted here at the Wooden Shoe Tulip Farm. That's more than 10 million reds, yellows, oranges, and whites. A photographer's dream and an escape for folks from more urban areas who otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity to experience farm life.
We kind of joke sometimes that we're really not in the flower business, but in the business of creating experiences for people.
Barb Iverson is Ross Iverson's daughter and president of the Wooden Shoe Tulip Farm. It's a family operation with her sister-in-law in the gift shop, her brother outside carving up wooden shoes, her nephew helping out with farm operations. Each year, from late March to early May, the farm opens its doors to visitors.
You've been out here before?
For a few bucks per carload, people can wander the fields, grab some grub, or pick up a tulip trinket to take home from the gift shop. The farm is also a popular destination for school field trips.
I think one of the things here is they come out, we've got tractors, we've got old steam tractors, but I think one of the best things out here is they can just come out and walk through the field. I mean, there aren't many places you can just go out and walk through a farmer's field. And you know, when you get out in the middle of a field, I don't care if it's a grass seed field or a potato field, whatever it is, when you're out in the middle of a field, that's an experience in itself. And I think there's a lost connection with that urban population.
And Barb Iverson understands the attraction to this place. She's an amateur photographer herself. More and more farms and ranches across the U.S. are opening their doors to visitors. This type of thing even has a name. It's called agritourism. Although visitors don't explore the other working parts of this 2,000-acre farm where they grow grass, wheat, and vegetables, they do spend some time with Ross, who started this farm back in 1950. He's officially retired, but you'll find him working over here pretty much every day.
I was running the trolley the other day, and a man sitting next to me, "Do you need help with your money? Look at all the money you're making here." And I said, "You know, if I was running it, you wouldn't be here. I wouldn't let anyone on the place. I'd pick all the flowers. I wouldn't leave any for you people to look at." And he kind of looked at me, didn't know what to say, but...
Nope, don't believe him. Don't believe him. He enjoys it. Whatever he says, he enjoys it. You know, he wanders through and he always talks to people. And you know, we have the tram ride to the field. He jumps on that and he'll drive back and forth just to visit with people. I mean, he really enjoys it.
After growing tulips for sale on the bulb market for several years, in 1985 they decided to open their doors to the public. Now they'll get upwards of 200,000 people visiting on a good year.
We had some neighbors that said, "Oh, you know, you really need to open your field in the spring. It's just gorgeous. You should invite the public out and do it." And we'd always, poo-poo them and say, "No, you know, that's a lot of work." And so one year, Easter was going to fall right perfect. We were going to be in full bloom. We thought, you know, why don't we? And so we opened the tulip field, and we had a traffic jam. Really, the agritourism is well worth it to do it. It's a lot of work, though, and a lot of, you know, you've got the liability, you've got people everywhere all the time. I mean, but then again, there's the rewards, too.
And after a few hours, that steam-powered tractor is ready for its turn in giving that farm experience.
This is a 1915 Russell made in Cillian, Ohio.
Can you show me how to drive one of these things?
I sure can.
I'd love to do it. Let's do it.
You have a learner's permit?
You don't tiptoe through the tulips with this baby. The Iversons' neighbor Roy Thompson knows that visitors here aren't getting a complete taste of the ups and downs of farm life, but he says sharing a small slice is definitely worth it.
They don't see the rainy days and all that stuff, but it's to get out of those closures, the pavement, get out into the dirt, and so we're out here just to give them something else to look at.
Yeah, you can grow a great crop, but there's also another reward that you get in farming, and there's a satisfaction that maybe you've made other people's lives a little bit better.
Oh, lots of beautiful flowers. Before we leave you, why not check out our America's Heartland website at americasheartland.org. You'll find video from all of our shows and lots more information on agriculture. And if you're into social media, be sure to find us on Facebook. You can also access our stories at the America's Heartland channel on YouTube. That's going to do it for us. We're glad you came along. We'll see you next time on America's Heartland.
You can see it in the eyes of every woman and man in America's heartland, living close to the land. There's a love for the country and a pride in the brand. In America's heartland, living close to the land.
America's Heartland is made possible by
America never stops. Neither do the farmers and ranchers who call her home. And as rural America grows further, Farm Credit will be there, just as we have for 100 years.
Crop Life America, representing the companies whose modern farming innovations help America's farmers provide nutritious food for communities around the globe. The Fund for Agriculture Education, a fund created by KVIE to support America's Heartland programming. Contributors include the following: